I'm Reverend Andriette, and this is Point of Power. Today is day 199. Can you believe it? We are that far through this year. We are presently still sheltered in place. And I'm declaring on our behalf, we are making the absolute best of it. I know there's a lot going on, and we have been through a lot up until this point. In fact, that's where I want to begin with day 199. In Marianne Williamson's book, A Year of Miracles, you know that that is our daily devotional for so throughout 2020, we are reading from a year of miracles. Why? Because we expect a miracle. And so we are focusing our daily attention on what is required of us to call forth the miracle that are already present in the universe. So here's what she says on day 199. Her title is Today I Make Love More Important Than Things. That's all I'm going to share from that today's read. And here's why. The moment I read that, I thought about all of the video we've seen, all of the commentary that we've heard around the protest, what has turned into, in some cases, the looting and rioting, etc., and all the criticism around it, that we have moved often, some of us move readily from an awareness and the appropriateness of protests and standing for something more, even as we march against certain consciousness and activity and experiences, legislation that is the equivalent of a boot on the collective of people, of indigenous people and people of color. So I'm reminded that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., in an interview with Mike Wallace of 2020 or 60 Minutes, I'm sorry, 60 Minutes, Mike Wallace of 60 Minutes, this was in 1966, that he's being asked about riots and protests. And this is what Dr. King says. He says, I contend that the cry of Black power, literally the cry of Black power, is at bottom a reaction to the reluctance of white power to make the kinds of changes necessary to make justice a reality for the Negro. I think that we've got to see that a riot is the language of the unheard. So as I listened to the commentary and the complaints and the criticism and the shaming and the guilt around the way that the protests were taking place, there were those who were looting and rioting. And I'm not condemning it. I'm also not in favor. I'm simply saying that it's a thing that happened. And our response to it. Remember last week we focused a bit on responsibility, our ability to respond. We do not have to respond in criticism. First of all, be aware that by the time we saw it on video, it had already happened. By the time we heard the pundits talking about it, it had already happened. So it's not that our comments are going to make a difference about the thing that already happened. So we are at choice in terms of what we see in it. And I think about the clarity of Dr. King. Very often he has been painted in a certain way. And then we go back and we read and we listen to recordings from different times and we realize that he had a real handle on humanity. He had a real sense of exactly what was going on. And he knew that this cry for Black power that now shows up as Black Lives Matter is a reaction to the reluctance of white power to make the kinds of changes necessary to make justice a reality. When that change happens and we're living and we're making our choice one of justice for all humanity, that, my beloveds, is our universal point of